I'm 35 now, and I've never been in better financial shape. I've never been in better physical shape. I've never had better relationships than I have right now. And this year in 2025 has been my most challenging year by far ever of my entire life. And the reason is because I got everything that I wanted. And I know that sounds weird. I felt like I had to make a video about this because I don't reckon this really gets talked about at all. And I think the reason I wanted to make it is because it's not spoken about. There is no hack or solution or blueprint that seems to be for everything that is to build more money, to build a better physique, to build better relationships. Like the main quadrants, or whatever you call them, the main sectors and the main pillars of the things that people want the most: relationships, financial, physical. Like they have a mentor and a process for all of them. But I tell you what isn't sexy, I tell you what isn't like fun to watch, and what isn't as marketable as those things is what to do when your life falls apart, in a way of speaking, when you get all the things that you've strived for. Let me explain. When I was a young guy, I only ever just wanted to be successful. I just wanted to make a heap of money. I wanted to get the prettiest girls. I wanted to look like the man. And I think that's the same can be said for a lot of young men, and young women as well. But I think I speak mostly for young men and just men, ambitious men in general, because that's who I am. And so I guess it's easier for me to discuss that and easier for me to relate to. And I wanted those things only because now I realize, looking back, because I was trying to fill a void in myself. I was trying to fill a void in validating, being someone noteworthy, being someone important, to feel like I belonged somewhere, but belonged in a way that made me feel important. And in that pursuit, I only had that as one goal. That was my entire purpose. There wasn't much time for inner reflection. There wasn't much time for understanding why I fought so hard for those things. And there wasn't any time to humble myself, to stop to check in about how I really felt about the things that I was doing. And when I say the things that I was doing, I mean burning bridges to make money. I mean, sleeping around to satisfy that part of me that thought getting girls would make me feel better about myself. The part about building muscles in the gym to look a certain way so that I was respected. And I know it's all a bit cliche, but everyone talks about that part, right? And there's something for that process all the way. But when I got to 2025, after more than a decade plus of chasing those things, I had achieved all of them. I had got the body, I had dated the girls, and I had made the money. And at the start of this year, in January, the demise and the fall down of my personality began, because I realized that chasing those things harder wasn't bringing me more happiness. I'd climbed a mountain and I thought the view would fix me, and it didn't. And as I'm talking about this, because this is the first time I've really spoken about this part specifically, but as I'm talking about this, I realize I'm thinking to myself, fuck, I just sound like every other dude on the internet. But I think the way that I want to not differentiate, but kind of have a voice on is like the struggle of not having purpose now, and how I don't have a solution to it yet, and how this has been the hardest process that I've ever gone through, to actually look at myself in the mirror, so to speak, not actually, but look at myself in the mirror and go, okay, what are my fears? what am I most scared of? What haven't I been looking at in myself? And by doing that has been the most challenging thing I've ever done. The feeling of getting to the place that I thought would make me happy lasted a very short period of time. And I'm not saying this would be the case for every single person, but I think the thing that I needed to take into account that was both my drawback and both my strength was that I am a more sensitive dude. I am a guy who feels emotions a bit deeper. I am a person that's more intrinsic than most. I am someone who notices energy a lot easier and clearer. And I ignored those things because I thought that sensitivity in me was weakness. And it took me all of this year to realize that it's not weakness if you have some control over it. And it is your strength if you choose to look at it that way. But I'm still battling with that. I still find the sensitivity really hard to manage. I still find it really difficult to deal with because everything is loud. Sometimes I feel like I need to walk down the street with earmuffs on. Sometimes I feel like I need to exit conflict scenarios because they are painful for my brain. Sometimes I feel like I have so much anxiety running through my body that I simply cannot deal with life. I will lie in bed for a long period of time simply because I can't deal with the world in that moment. And I've come to be friends with that person more so. And if you ever have felt like this, you know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't, that's okay too, but it is something that you need to accept as part of who you are. It doesn't mean that you need to heavily medicate or, do anything crazy, but you need to understand that part for yourself. And everyone's on different wavelengths of that, and there is no actual tape measure of logic that can say what number you are or whatever. It's a feeling, right? So it's really hard to measure. But I realize that different people are on different lengths of that. So I got the money, I got the girls, I got the stuff, and it didn't make me any happier. And this year is now learning how to be real, be me, be as deeply me as I possibly can. And I haven't worked out yet what my purpose is. I guess it seems to me that everyone's trying to work that out. But I think my purpose right now, and this might be helpful for you, is to just take it easy. Slow the fuck down. I've identified progress I've made my entire identity tied up in progress being the yardstick for my work. And when that goes away and it's not there anymore, and I don't give a fuck about earning more money, and I could not care less about dating girls. I'm in a loving relationship now, but I couldn't care less about dating girls, and I couldn't care less about what stuff I have. The less shit I have, the happier I am. Then who am I? And that is a really hard question to answer, and it's taken me all year to learn how to manage that. And I haven't got the answers, but I think the answer for me right at this moment is to just slow down and to be with myself and to do my best. Just do my fucking best. That's what we're all here to just do our best, right? And I think that's my purpose at this point. I don't need to, make more money to be valid. I don't need to get leaner to feel like I belong in the world. I don't have to have capped shoulders to feel like I'm important. I don't need to have those things. I find joy in the smallest things right now. And I think that is enough. I think it's enough. I'm okay with myself if I have to sleep until 11 a.m. And thank fuck, younger me built a life where I can do that. And I'm thankful for that. So if you're going through a stage right now of this and oh man, I see you. I get it. I'll never say that I understand because everybody's different, right? But I still remember this year when it was about April, and for a week, every single day, every day, I shit you not, every day. I'm okay to talk about this stuff now, but back then but every day I was in tears. I had no idea why. I couldn't work. I was just crying every day on the floor, visceral, like crying. And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me? And I got counseling and I did all the stuff, and months on now, like I'm obviously so much better. I'm starting to recalibrate to a level that's like understanding myself better, but it doesn't make it easier to handle. You just learn how to be you more every day, I guess. Every day is a stretch. Some days I'm just like, here's the point of all this, I'll go back to being a performer. But anyway, if you're in this stage, see you, man. If you need to talk or whatever, like hit me up on Instagram. I don't mind. I'm happy to help if I can. I just didn't want this to be too much of a sob story. I'm just sharing a part that I think doesn't get talked about very much. So, I see you, man. And yeah, if you're out there, hold on, keep going, keep your head up high, keep your shoulders back, keep moving forward in some way. Don't let it win, but take notice, look inside, ask the hard questions of yourself. Do your best to ask the hard questions of yourself. Look at yourself. Don't give up.